I want you to have your right to be big. You as a women consultant, I want you to go in to your clients and I want you to make that change that you are so driven to make. And I want you to own the power and own the gifts that you have. So the empowerment piece here is for me to say, I have enough power that I can share that with you. And you who are hearing this message right now, you who are watching this video, this is for you specifically. Hey, it's Samantha Hartley of the Profitable Joyful Consulting Podcast. This is season 15, and we are talking about women's empowerment, empowering women. It's a super important topic I wanted to share with you, and it represents a certain place on my journey. You know, this is, we are 3.5 years into podcasting for me, and I am about 15 years away from a time in my life when it was not a priority for me to empower other women. I grew up in an environment where women were very much in competition with one another, and it was just kind of like easier, as I told myself, it was just easier to kind of deal with men. They were just kind of simpler. And women interacting with girls and women as we were growing up was very much about competition and tearing each other down. And, we didn't really compete with the men in a corporate setting, but rather with the other women around us. And it was just overall super destructive. I can imagine that younger generations hearing this are horrified by what they're hearing. I hope that this dynamic has not continued. What it revealed to me once I became aware of this, about a decade and a half ago, was the degree to which I had personally internalized misogyny and patriarchy, and how much I believed that those were my own ideas, because that's the way this kind of messaging works. You begin to erode your own you never really develop your own ideas about things because you're just programmed to have these, to believe these things, to believe that women are out to get you, they're in competition with you, and that you can't really accomplish things on your own. You need to do it relative to what other women are doing, rather than standing back and saying like, wow, well, it's not about women, it's about people in general. And I really, it's not about competition, but about raising other people up and seeing where my place is in that. It's just, there's a much more mature and enlightened view of these things that I think I want to talk about this season, because I think a lot of us have in many areas. And then from time to time, I'll just find this little piece of internalized misogyny cropping up, or internalized patriarchy or something. I have a really sophisticated client that I'm working with, and when I have seen her in interacting with male colleagues, what I'll notice is that she's giving away her power. She has a habit of doing that. So what that can look like is allowing him to make decisions, or saying yes to things that he requests that aren't required, but they're requests from him, but she'll go along with it, or just allowing him to speak first in a meeting. And it's really minor and insidious, but I noticed it and she notices it. And now that we're aware of it, we can do something about it. But the question that stands behind it for her is, why do I give away my power? Why do I consistently give away my power to the men in my life? So I asked her, do you ever give away your power to women? No. Are you giving away your power to me ever? No, she says. And I'm in a coaching position with her. So there would be theoretically a dynamic of where that could happen, but I'm not asking her to do that and she's not pulling that. So the question becomes like, why is that happening with these key male figures in her life? I offer that as something for you to pay attention to around you. Do you tend to give away your power? And if so, to whom? Empowerment is an amazing topic for me. It's been fascinating. It's a major part of my brand. I'll talk about with you in a moment. But to me, empowerment, I wanted to specifically read the definition of empower, to make someone stronger and more confident, especially in controlling their life and claiming their rights. Wow, amazing, yeah? So I love to empower people in my work, and I think it's so important for us to empower one another, to empower the next generation. Like, there's an abundance mindset that comes in with the concept of empowerment. So I think this is really key. When I was in competition with women younger, when I see people who are in competition, and I know my clients who go in and work with women leaders and in corporations and organizations where they're specifically coaching women, a lot of times the reason there is this kind of comparison, envy, competition is the feeling that there's not enough. It's a scarcity mindset about what? Power, about access, about whatever the things that we might be able to get, but there's not enough of it. So the gains to be had, the jobs, the positions, the authority. But if you come down to it, like a lot of it at its core is really about power. So if you empower someone, you're able to say, like, there's plenty of it. I don't need to hoard my power. I can share power. And the more powerful we all are, the more powerful the whole becomes. So it's really, it goes down to these specific core ideas of scarcity versus abundance, and also to very primal tribal feeling, very first chakra. Like, do I feel connected to the tribe? And do I feel a sense of power and identity within this whole larger thing? So that is what I'm going to talk about this season, because I think it's such an important thing to cover. And in my work with women consultants, one that I encounter over and over again, what am I empowering them to do? So let's look at what those topics are going to be. I'm going to talk about career and family balance. I'm going to come back to money. I know I spent a whole season about it, but there's, money is power in capitalism, and in our society. Like, the more money you have, the more powerful you are. It just is what it is. And so a way to gain access and to gain control and gain power is by having more and more money. And I want women to have money, specifically women, because when women have money, everybody benefits, right? They tend to share, they tend to empower, they tend to collaborate. So collaboration is a topic. We're going to talk more about self-care, because not taking care of ourselves is a way that we give away our power and we diminish our power. We'll talk about executive presence, because you can't be a woman and not talk about the fact that how you look, or at least how you present yourself, is a key component of how powerful you are perceived to be. Right or wrong, however we might feel about that, it is what it is. And then imposter syndrome. And whether that's a thing or not, whether that's made up or whether that's really internalized misogyny, let's find out what we need to know. So those are some of the topics I have planned for this season, along with several others. So I hope you'll be excited to continue. And I always want to hear from you on any of the socials, what resonates with you and what you particularly connect with and what you want to hear more about, because that's why I'm here for you. It's why I do this season and every season. This podcast is my passion and my mission to share messaging with you. And on that topic, like, empowerment is key to my brand and has been since the very beginning. So I sat down, this is in the early 2000s when I was first laying out my brand, and I was like, what does my brand stand for? What does it do? And I thought about the things that I'm really good at. So I'm a teacher. That's like basically who I am and what I do, one of the things that I do. And as a teacher, I provide my clients tools to be able to do things. And so I thought, well, tools really means to equip. When you give someone tools, you equip them with what they need to do stuff. So I teach ideas and concepts, and I also share tools like perfect client profile, or in this particular episode, what I'm sharing with you, these are ideas. This is a concept, and I'll ask you questions at the end. Those questions are tools you can use for self-discovery to understand and to make changes in your own life. So equip was a major component. And then inspire. Do I feel that I'm so inspiring? Not even necessarily. However, what I would hear from clients after I worked with them or after they saw me speak was that they would say to me, I'm inspired. So I had to own that. And I encourage you to own it. If you feel triggered by me calling myself inspiring, I didn't call myself inspiring. I said that a promise my brand makes is to inspire my clients. But if you feel triggered anytime you hear the terms that I'm using, that's a message to yourself. Like, what are you not owning? And what am I modeling owning? So clients would say to me, I feel so excited. I have so much energy after we talk. And then they would go and do stuff. And that was inspiration, right? So it was breathing spirit into them. So I receive messages from spirit, inspiration, and then I would breathe that into them, and then they would be excited and go and do stuff. And then so equip and inspire were two components. And then the third component was empower. Like, in general, another thing that I'll own about myself is I have a lot of personal power. When people meet me in person, it's the thing they comment on. Like, I am powerful. I get stuff done, and I'm able to corral people and get them excited about things. So When I want something, I can make it happen. So I get to own that power. I think I have to own that power. I think all of us have to own the divine gifts that we've been given, or else, like, what kind of stewards are we, right? So I have a lot of power, and I can confer that power upon whomever I choose, right? And so because I can confer power, that's that empowering thing. And so what I wanted to own from the very beginning is that when a client comes to me, I'm like, I see you, I see your gifts, I see your power. I see that you choose to be big, or you want to be big, and you're not able to access that right now. And so I can empower them. I can give them the power. Remember, giving someone the power, conferring upon them the possibility to own those rights. That's that definition that we looked at. So I want you to have your right to be big. You, as a women consultant, I want you to go in to your clients, and I want you to make that change that you are so driven to make. And I want you to own the power and own the gifts that you have. So the empowerment piece here is for me to say, I have enough power that I can share that with you. And you who are hearing this message right now, you who are watching this video, this is for you specifically. That's the gift, okay? That is the empowerment. Now, all of those verbs, those are the 3 verbs of my brand, by the way, which is, I'm alluding to a branding exercise that I invite you to do. What are the verbs of your brand? And don't just be like, oh, equip, empower, inspire. That sounds like what I do. No. Really do a deep dive into who you are and what you specifically do. Those are driven by my why. Why do I even do any of this stuff? And also by my personal story. All of these things are part of your power. The power that I have is that I had such tragic work experiences at corporate, such terrible struggles as a consultant along the road, that I wanted to make it easier for you. I want to equip you with the tools so that you don't have to learn things the hard way. I want to empower you to be big, to be bold. That's how you get things done. And that's how you can compare with a man who will go into a situation and be like, yeah, it's a $300,000 investment, when you would go in and be like, I don't know if I can even see 50,000. I want you to call on, not the masculine, call on the feminine within you that says, I can make a big impact on this client. I want you to call that up. That's the empowerment piece. And I hope that you're inspired by hearing this. I hope that when you hear this, you think, I can do this. I can totally do this. Now, if you're inspired for help, then obviously reach out. You can find me on the socials. You can find me at SamanthaHartley.com. And I can help you to do this. This is specifically what I do in my business. Is I empower women consultants to be their biggest, best version of themselves so that they get all the clients they want. They're paid for the value they bring. They're compensated in commensurate, in accordance with the value that they're bringing to their clients. And they're able to make a big impact on the world through their work with their clients, sometimes just through their personal brand, the way that they're being in their marketing and the way that we see them, writing books, putting themselves out there, making videos. Like, my clients are making a huge impact. And the empowerment piece for me is that I want you to experience what that feels like. You as your biggest, best self. And I want you to do that without exhaustion, in balance, so that you have a life that you want to live. You're able to be the person that you want to be, and you're able to do this creative, expressive work through your business. So, a couple of homework assignments here. Definitely take a look at that brand exercise. I think it's super fun to think about what those brand adjectives are. I want you to check back with your why and make sure you're in touch with it like I am, that you can articulate it crisply and concisely, and that you're sharing that on an ongoing basis with your clients, because we want to know about you. Remember, we can buy what you do probably from 100 other people minimum, but we can't get you. So we want to have the thing that you bring to your work. So put that into your why, put that into your story when you're communicating with your clients. And lastly, I want you to ask yourself, how am I with my relationship to my own power? How am I being with my power? Am I comfortable with that? When am I my most powerful? When do I bring my power to my clients? And what do I use it for? Am I empowering them? Am I supporting them? Like, how does your power show up in your work with your clients? Is it holding an impeccable container while they do work? Or is it holding a really solid boundary because the work is difficult? What does your power manifest as in your work with your clients and in your work as a woman consultant. You want to share any of that, I would love to hear about it. And I look forward to sharing more of these ideas with you over this season. I think it's going to be empowering and also just fun to explore. So with that, I am wishing you a profitable and joyful consulting business.